Hey, what's going on, guys? Curtis with ThatTurboDakota. So today I'm going to put this thing back together. From the last video, we're going to put it up on my cribbing that you might be able to see across there in the shop. We're going to take a look underneath. Look at the 9-inch, look at the suspension, maybe the bottom half of the turbo kit for those who are interested in doing something like that, just to give you kind of some good idea. So give me a second here. Let me get this thing back together, up in the air, and then we'll go underneath and check it out. Thanks. Okay, as you can see behind me, front end's back together. Truck's up on the cribbing. Let's get under this thing. Look at the 9-inch, look at the suspension. We'll look at the bottom side of the turbo kit, give you guys ideas. I'll talk about how I had to get the measurements for the 9-inch, what QuickTime was looking for, and that's pretty much it. Let's get under here and check it out. Underside of the TurboDakota. We'll start from the front, work our way back. Let's look at the plumbing for the turbo kit. So over here on the driver's side, so what you can see right here, that is the Precision 60mm wastegate. Let me see if I can get you guys a good angle. I'm kind of close. What you're looking at is basically I just kind of piped it in line, kind of made a little kick out, blended everything together real nice and neat. If you can see it, let me change the angles. There's that 3-bolt flange that I welded on the bottom of that PPH header, and then you can see my wastegate. I know that's like typically, you know, if you look at a lot of the instructions for the wastegate, that's not a normal place for it per se, but the sheer size of this thing, it is a 60mm, so you're talking about a 2.5-inch inlet and 2.5-inch outlet. My crossover pipe's only 2.5 inches. It actually worked out really, really well. I said I don't have any issues with you know, creeping or anything with the boost. So as you can see, comes off the bottom of the header, right? Wraps under the bell housing. You see the bottom of my transpan, right? Really simple, right? No big deal. Real tight up against the bell housing, a little bit tight on the pans, but it doesn't touch. Then if you look through up here, let's see if I can get you guys a better angle. Turn my light up for a second. It goes forward. Now what it's doing is it's going between the bottom cross member of the truck and between the oil pan and the bottom of the motor mount. There is just enough room to get a 2.5-inch pipe through there, right? So get you guys really good angles. You're gonna, right? So there's the bottom, the cross member for the truck. There's the rack. We'll swing around here, and you can see it right as it comes through there. So it's close. It's close, but it doesn't touch. And then it goes back up here to the front, and as you can see that V-band right there, that's where it ties in the bottom of the turbo manifold. I did all that. I bought that manifold again, TTI, Washington State. Then that PPH header. I did all my did all the plumbing in between. While we're under here, you can see where the intercooler pipe comes down from that 4-inch hole I cut and ties into the bottom of the intercooler. Has about a 45-degree angle. I hacked the straighteners off, put a 45, put the coupler on right there. Hope you guys don't get sick. We'll come back here. Same thing, right? 45-degree, really nice and simple. Goes up through the fender, that 4-inch hole. You can kind of see it right there. I cut. Hopefully, if you guys are wanting to turbo your truck, that'll really help you out. I did a lot of digging around. I want to just to give me ideas. It's always nice to nice a starting spot for somebody. You know, if you want to build your own turbo kit in your backyard, you literally could do it with a MIG welder. I don't see why not. Okay, so we're gonna come around here. B&M Transpan. Let me back up so you can see it. 46 RE trans, built by me. Billet input shaft, hardened intermediate shaft. The John Cope billet valve body. You know, a bunch of other billet parts. We won't really get into much of that. One thing I do want to point out, tubular transmission mount. Richard Hypotech makes these things. I really like it. It's nice and simple. It frees up a ton of room underneath your truck. Check him out. Richard Nash, Hypotech. A lot of stuff for the Dakota Durango chassis. I really like it. And you can also see while we're in here, see my exhaust downpipe. It's all 3.5 inches, right? Comes through there to some kind of stainless steel. It's like a Dynamax, kind of like a diesel muffler. I did all my own TIG welds. Let's see if we can get you guys a better angle. Under here, just a 3-inch, and then I did all these pot cuts. So this is kind of cool. So you can see how it comes out, snakes up and over the frame rail. I did all this custom, and it was all made out of one single piece. And then dumps out between the tire. I'm pretty proud of that. It took a lot of time welding, as you could imagine, but it turned out really, really nice. Okay. Drive shaft, 4-inch aluminum drive shaft made by a place in down in Florida, PST. Look them up; they did a great job. So we're gonna swing her around here. Look at this rear axle. So, like I said, 9-inch Ford rear axle. Came from QuickTime. You can see that has the heavy-duty pinion support option. As you can see right there, 1350U. U-joints, billet yoke. There's my Viking Warrior double adjustables in the stock location. That's something that's going to change here shortly. I do want to put them straight up and down. Probably going to move to a fuel cell too. So you can come over here. You can see the back side of the other one. Again, stock location uppers. Just made it easier to put together. Looks like my rear end's seeping a little bit, but that's what winter time's for. We'll take care of that. Transcooler. That is my transcooler. You see my little mount there. My temperature switch went bad, so I had to put just a manual switch to run the fan. If you look at it, I actually made a little air scoop out of some tin, TIG welded it up. There's no longer a transcooler in the front end. That is a Durrell. It works pretty good. I'm probably going to add a second one in the dead heat of summer here in Maryland. It gets up a little bit higher than I'd like, but it's not hateful. Suspension. So, CalTrack monoleafs, as you can see right there. CalTrack bars, which is a must, really helps promote separation, planting that tire on the ground. Let's talk about these rear mounts. So, these rear mounts, Matt Funkhauser, out in California, he makes these mounts. I really like these mounts. As you can see, has a tow hook right there, so when I put it on the trailer, it makes it really easy. I don't have to wrap anything around the axle, so that's always a plus. You got more adjustment, and what that is if you know anything about CalTracks, like I said, they do promote separation. That allows actually to promote better leverage. Hits the tire harder to the track, which is depending on your track and what tires you're running. That kind of all goes into factor. The reason why, one of the biggest reasons why I had to run this is when I lowered the truck, as you can see, those are actually Calvert blocks stacked. They're 2 1/2-inch blocks stacked together. But I actually used a Bell-Tech front hanger. Now, if you're using these Bell-Tech front hangers to get you a good shot, what it does is basically it moves this point right here up, which in turn lowers the truck. Now, when you do that, you cannot use the upper hole of your CalTrack bars. Again, that bar angle all has to go, has to do with the leverage as far as how much separation it's promoting. So I had to use the lower hole. The lower hole typically promotes less. You hear him say it doesn't hit the tire harder, right? Promotes less separation. Now getting these Matt Funkhauser brackets for the back of the truck actually allowed me to get my adjustment back. I could give the bars a little bit more angle, promoted more separation, especially important because I am running a radial style tire, and they have to hit the ground or hit the track real hard to get them to plant. So just something to keep in mind. There, I'll give you another shot. See that Bell-Tech? And I only bought the front half of that kit. As you can see, we'll come back around. Check that out right there. So there isn't much room between the frame rail. You can see that in the axle. I don't plan on lowering the truck anymore. It sits just about the way I want it to sit. In the back, everything's just stock. I did make sure, you need to make sure that your suspension isn't bound up. So what I actually did is I took these nuts, and these are supposed to be one-time use. I actually staked them and then used a little bit of red Loctite. And what that allowed me to do is I don't have to tighten them so much that they're actually bound up and you can't move. All the suspension moves very, very freely, which it has to allow it to work correctly. It needs to move freely. So that's that. Battery is mounted up under the bed. It's been like that for years. That's no big deal. Again, here's another shot of the transcooler. Just a mount I made. I made that little scoop there. Kind of picks up some air on the road to help it out. Right now, there's your QuickTime 9-inch. As far as the 9-inch goes, it was really easy to do. Pull the old axle out, measure end to end with a flat edge, measure center line of pinion to both sides. You'll notice in these Dakotas, it is offset to one side. One side's longer than the other. That's just the way it's set up. I'm using Ford Explorer brakes, which is a kit QuickTime sells. I don't have the emergency brake hooked up. They fit really, really well. And the reason I really like it is easy. If something happens, I can find a caliper, a rotor, a pad. It's really, really easy. I bent my own brake lines, welded the tabs on. To be honest with you guys, this rear kind of really just looks like it belongs in the truck. It really doesn't look out of place. At least I don't think so. It looks like it belonged. It turned out really good. I'm really, really happy with the way it turned out. I think that pretty much covers the underside. If you guys have any other questions, I want to see anything else, let me know. So let's crawl out of here, and if you made it this far, we're gonna look at what's coming up next for the Turbo Dakota. Okay, so if you have made it around this far, this is the exciting part. I want to show you guys what is soon to come for my truck. Like I said, it's been on AEM version 1 ECU that I tuned for the last 5 years, and it's time to update. So I got 2 boxes on the floor. Let's check this thing out. I'm excited about this. I've been waiting for this for a while. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to take a look. All right, so let's look what we have here. This is the future of the Turbo Dakota. There it is right there, fellas. Ladies and gents, that is a Holley Dominator EFI. I'd say it is about time to update the Turbo Dakota. I'm excited about this. I've been waiting for it for a while. It's just time. That AEM V1, great. It's great. We went, as fast as we could probably go. It might have a little bit more left in it, but it's just time. I'll show you the front of the box. My wife hooked me up. Slow and lame. And then this box right here, really excited about this. With the addition to the Dominator, we also went out, and if you can tell by the instructions, we got the Pro Dash. I'm really excited about that. Ever since I saw the Holley did, you've probably seen, if you haven't, you should check it out. Go on their website. They did a RT Dakota. It's red. It has a 392 Hemi in it. And with that, they actually put the same dash in it, the 12.3 dash in the truck. So the stock cluster's coming out. I'm really excited about that dash. I put some power to it and had a chance to play with it. The nice thing about the Dominator is all this stuff, fuel pressure and wideband, all that stuff's leaving. I'm trying to clean out, it's going to look stock other than the dash, but I won't have all this stuff hanging off the 8-pillar trans temp and the shift light. The shift light may or may not stay. The trans temp, there's no point in that anymore. I'm just going to get it kind of straightened back out, look like a stock Dakota. So if you're interested in that, please stick around, and we're going to kind of go through it. I'm not using a plug-and-play harness. I'm actually going to build a harness. We're going to use like a military spec bulkhead. I think it's going to come out really, really nice. That's the dual sync distributor. We'll talk more about this stuff later. I'll probably lay everything out. We'll go over some of the options I'm going to add. So stay tuned. Thanks you guys for watching. I always appreciate it. A lot of more content to come, hopefully. See ya.